Get ready, Diane.
Okay, since this is your 74th birthday, we wanted to try to capture some of your life on video.
Oh my Lord, how you gonna get
Let me
my
get my
life?
pillow
It's
here.
gonna be hard, we've only got a half an hour to do it.
Kids, stay back there.
But Kim came up with all these questions.
You lie like a dog.
Get that.
Now you want a chair, this is gonna be funny. Come sit up with us.
Oh my Lord.
So we just had a couple questions we want to ask you just to find out kind of about your life.
You can mine now, I'll
Okay?
sit before. I'm okay.
Kim, you ready?
Yep, we're on. We're on.
All right, so I'm gonna ask you the question, and if you could just elaborate, take your time, just kind of,
Okay.
give us the information you want to give us here, okay? The first question is, what were you doing during the Kennedy assassination?
Good Lord. That's probably out rooting for the other guy. No, sir. I don't remember what I was doing, but it just broke my heart. He was the only man I ever voted for. First time I ever voted.
Really?
Made a Democrat out of me.
Huh.
I'm a Democrat till today, and you be sure to get that down on the screen. And one of my kids votes Republican ticket, it gets disowned and kicked out of the bloodline.
Ruh-roh.
Listen, take over.
Hey, hand the camera over to Ron.
Right there, get that one.
Good close up there.
And someday
That's the one.
someday she votes
Make her stop.
Republican ticket, she'll be eating bushes.
Pan it on Rhonda, she's the only
You
kid
too,
left
if you
out
vote
there.
Republican.
I vote Republican.
Out the camera on yourself. Okay, give me the other.
All
I
right,
don't know what I was doing, but I loved him. He was a good president. He was a rich man, but he was rich, but it didn't matter.
well, a lot of people say, that like events like that, September 11th, you know exactly what you were doing.
No, I don't. That's silly. I
That's
don't know
silly?
about that. I don't remember that. I don't remember all that.
Okay, so the second question is, how did your parents survive the Depression, and can you give us any information about what life was like during
Moon
that time?
shining and frogs on the coins.
Well, for all you future law enforcement people out there, my dad made counterfeit money, frugally,
Go ahead and pause that, Kim.
and
Let's go off the
he
record.
sold boots
Should we black her face
on the black
out?
market. We're
gonna be watching this beat.
Change your voice. Wow.
So he sold boots?
What did she say?
Boots.
Black box across the
Really?
eyes.
Moonshine and kind of
So we were a privileged people. We had a car. There was two in the neighborhood, and we owned one of them.
You gotta have 3 wheels.
What kind of car was it? You remember the kind
It
of
was
car
an
it was?
A model.
Is that
With
the
them
one
little bitty
Papa-
skinny wheels. They all were skinny wheels.
is that the one Papa caught on fire?
Yeah. Because you could look right down to the ground.
Well, Mom, we
See
did
the
that
motor?
when
We had the same thing.
you go down the road to see if we can
Yeah, that was right.
Man, we ain't advanced very much, have
Well,
we?
anyway,
Come very far.
I'm telling you, the first cars I ever seen, you could take a clothespin and a piece of hay bale wire and fix them.
My kind of car.
MacGyver.
And you had land.
I've had a few of them myself, if I think about it.
Okay,
One zip
Next
tie,
question.
this next question is the one that Kim put in there. Okay, just so you know.
so- Oh no.
What was it like coming over on the Mayflower?
Oh, I tell you, it was,
That's horrible.
I lost my corn.
Okay, next question. Where did you grow up?
Where did I grow up? I was all around. We moved every 3 months.
Like a red.
No, we did move around a lot.
Is that because of the
No, I
counterfeit
lived
money
with my
thing,
grandma
or-
and grandpa.
Moonshine, whatnot.
So we pretty
Is
well
it Granny
stayed in one spot
Diaries?
till I turned 8. And then when we moved mom and dad, they moved me all over.
Mhm. Where would you guys live till you were 8?
It's in that house there in Lily. In Lily.
Kentucky?
Yeah. In Lily.
Well, we never heard of another Willie.
And we walked. I went to school at Lily.
And up the hill and down the hill in
Well,
the snow.
Barefoot.
Barefoot.
In the middle of summer.
Stage 68 and caved, didn't it?
So what was the population of Lily, Kentucky?
2.
No, there was at least
You.
300.
Is that
No,
counting the dogs or not?
no, there was at
So
least
you
300.
burn a dog.
Were the inbred kids?
Still a bit
Lily
smaller
was
than
a
you?
city.
It wasn't?
It was a city.
Oh, man, that place has grown.
We had 2 stores.
Oh, wow.
and a post office.
Grew up in New York
Sounds
City.
Sound like you're in local.
Billy
It's a new
Peters
version from
France.
New York City.
She said that house with Mama and Papa had a big high porch.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it did.
With Pat and Grandma had a big high porch. And man, we got snows back then. Big tall ones, either I was little.
That's probably coming.
Because Pap would dress me up and take me out on the porch, and I'd stand there because he knew I loved the beautiful snow, and I always did. And I just wanted to jump off in it, so I did. Went in over my head in the snow. Honestly. I just went in over my head and he had to fish me out.
You kind of answered the next question. What did you do as a child for entertainment? Jumping in the snow, obviously, one of those.
I cut up everything I could get my hands on.
Tell us about the tomato patch and
Climbing trees.
Oh, that was when I got older.
that's when you got older.
And,
Yep.
Tacking teachers' kids' hair to the.
Oh, I know.
You know, that was when I
That's
was old.
horrible.
We don't count
Throwing
that.
cherry bombs in the fire. Yeah, or the, I remember the one.
Oh, I threw this. Now, we did seesaw Leland through the window. Seesaw. No, we had an old schoolhouse, and it had big high windows, and it come a big snow that night. The next morning we went to school, and he looked out the window and seen Audrey Martin going down the road with a gun. He was going rabbit hunting. Well, Leland wanted to go. So he started the outdoor teacher, cut him off. So he run, going to jump out the window, and she's got a hold of him, pulling him back in, and the other kids are pushing him out, and Audrey's got on the outside pulling him out. She's pulling him back in, and I'm trying to help push him out. Finally, he jumped, got him out the window, and away he went. Squirrel hunting. No,
Was he in
rabbits.
detention after that?
No, he wouldn't have stayed anyway.
Teacher.
I bored him with the teacher.
What grade was that?
About fifth, sixth.
Who are you talking about?
Leland, my cousin.
Some distant relative you don't want to know nothing about. Another
He
one
lives
of
down in
those.
Corbin.
No, he was all right.
Leland's a good boy.
Ivy, she was a, I loved her, but she was a little strange. But the
Ixnay.
ones next to Mamaw Smith, I hope
Ixnay
they're not related in
Oh,
any
God, here we
way.
go.
Who?
Rachel or whatever.
Oh,
her name
them
is.
was our cousins. You don't know.
Oh, now I'm gonna die for sure. I knew it. I knew he had
That
that
bloodline
bloodline.
is something. That poor little Glenn.
That explains
I'm
the
gonna get to heaven. That girl's they're all gonna be there because they're good people.
Oh,
They were
yes.
good human beings, and I'm not ashamed of
Well,
them.
they're not good at decorating, I can tell you that
Well,
right
I
now.
got no, and bless their hearts, they don't want
Have
me
you
to.
seen their fence?
Okay, back on track
Them's
here.
good people.
Okay, what do you remember the most about your mom and your dad?
Look at his tail.
Ooh, I don't think you even want to go there. The fact. Just slugging it out.
Slugging
I like
along?
her. Mom
Yeah,
and
that's
Dad.
what I remember. I have to tell the truth, Donna.
How about you, kid?
Now, besides counterfeiting, what did your dad do for a living?
Oh, he worked. I don't remember what. He worked at a sawmill. He worked at a sawmill, and he worked for Hewitt Roark's grandpa for 50 cents a day. He had to take his own dinner.
Oh, is that, what's his
You
name?
managed 50 cents.
Oh,
Yeah, but we
sweetheart.
could take him 50 cents and go down and get me a pair of shoes.
Back then, cigarettes were a nickel, right?
Oh, I don't remember.
No, they
but I-
rolled 'em
No, they couldn't have been.
The government hadn't configured till 1776.
Because we raised our own tobacco and everything. Well, we didn't, but people around there did.
There's
Jim
your rolls
can
are
Oh,
on.
Honey, we use rabbit weed. Works fine.
Wow.
which is now called marijuana.
Which way? What do you think made me so happy? No, it just was the weed. And remember Wes gave me
I knew that was
I
coming.
got a bag of rabbit weed in there. I got a bag of rabbit weed in there. So we'll stop and get it.
Oh God, if we hear sirens, everybody's scared.
Okay. Next question is, was there anything you dreamed about or doing whenever you grew up? You know, as a
Yes,
kid?
I
I
can answer
wanted
that
to
one.
be a doctor.
A doctor.
There you go.
I knew that one.
All my life, that was the only thing I ever wanted to be. I didn't want to be a nurse. I wanted to be a doctor.
A doctor of what?
Practiced on my head.
A doctor that cut into people
So, surgery.
and saved lives. And I'd have been poor because they'd paid me in chickens or something.
Mm.
That's been the way I got paid. I'd have been poor because I couldn't have watched nobody suffer. Cause they didn't have
Is that the reason for all the serial killer books that you have?
Probably.
Who's that
I
guy?
think we're, I think we're starting to learn some stuff here.
My life would revolve around
You
medicine.
get done hearing
and
this,
some-
then start thinking about your own life. You start putting
It
two
would
and
have
two
strictly
together.
been medicine.
Me and Pat's been working on it for a while.
Okay.
And it, I'd have went as high as I could have got too.
I told him you'd say that.
I could have done pathology. And I'd have been good.
But man, she
Because I was smart.
she could hammer a liver into a little slab.
Very smart.
No, medicine would have been my life.
And now you're smart and wise.
What kept you from doing it?
Huh?
What kept you from?
Honey? I didn't have
Not enough rabbit
Al,
weed.
raise your hand.
She couldn't sell
Back
enough.
then I
That's
couldn't
about
sell
what
my
it is.
rabbit weed, no. Back then, I was lucky to have enough books to go to school. That's how come I dropped out, because I needed another book and then mom and dad didn't have the money. And it was gonna cost me $4.
When you print some
So
up.
instead of telling mom, well, dad just did that when he got desperate. But asking your parents for money back then, you didn't do it, because I was smart enough to know they didn't have the money. So back then you could decide on yourself if you wanted to go to high school. So instead of telling mom the truth, which she died not knowing, I needed $4 for another book, and I just didn't have the heart to ask for it.
Well, why didn't you just go ahead
So
and
I just
answer
told
them?
mom that I didn't like it. I didn't want to go to school no more.
Why didn't you just have Wes or them beat up somebody and take theirs?
I'm gonna cry. I don't like this story no more.
I
Let's
didn't
go
tell
somewhere
my
else.
I don't like it. Well, that was.
That's the story she tells every time that makes me cry. I
Well,
can't
I've
handle it.
heard that story too.
No, that was
I've
true.
heard that.
That was
What it gets to be.
But that opened the door for Bobby. That really
Don't
did.
do, yeah, don't go there.
It opened the door for
Get
Bobby.
old, Ma'am,
And I
I'll
dropped that out.
Yeah, I do too.
Then they had more money to put toward her education, which thank God she used it wisely. Because Bobby was very dependable and always had a good job. But when I dropped out, see, they could afford
Freed it
to freed up the money for Bobby to get an education.
Bobby needs
So
to be shipping you some back for your
Bobby
sacrifice.
doesn't know it till today, and I don't want her feelings hurt. That would hurt Bobby.
Don't hurt my feelings.
Bobby, no
I
human
know
being.
I got a book full of
I
that.
don't think there was a human being on earth ever knew that, up until just the last few years. I know my mother never knew it. I just never told them. I never told none of my aunts or nobody.
Okay.
But anyway, that's the reason I didn't go on to school.
Okay. Where did you first meet Papa? How did he propose to you? And what was your wedding ceremony
Well, hard.
Rolling
Well, in the first place,
like? This is Kim's question.
This is the gypsy part.
no, he chased me down. Met him up on top of the hill. He'd come to visit Julie.
Visit who?
Watch the
My
coal miner's
Julie.
daughter and you'll see.
Yes, basically that's about what it amounts to. And I guess he got struck on me. I think. I know I got struck
He was a
on
hot chick back then, let's face it.
Anyway,
Being jealous.
he was up there to see Julie, so he walked up there.
Who's Julie?
My
Julie.
first cousin, Idy's.
Okay.
Leland's sister.
Okay.
Okay, now,
Back to Leland.
back to where were we?
How you
Walked
met
up on the
Dad.
hill.
Okay, and
met
he
some hill.
he chased me down to put a frog on me.
How old? How old were you guys?
Are you telling the truth?
Yes.
Look at her with her tail. There was something wrong when she twisted
She's
that
been
tail.
ramping it.
No, he was gonna put a frog down my back.
That's flirting back then. That'd
But what
be
that
considered
is,
flirting.
it was,
How old were you? 14, 15, 19?
12, 13.
Dad knew you
I
all
mean,
that
we were
time
just
before you got
playing.
married?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he come to see me and him mom sat up all night. I had to go to bed. Well, he did.
Well, when did he ask you to marry him?
Age what?
I was 16. I'm trying to recall when he asked me to marry him. Maybe he didn't ask me. Maybe he just took it for granted. I don't know. He surely. Oh yes, I do. He asked me if it'd be all right. We was walking home from church. He asked me if it'd be all right if he asked Mom if he could marry me. He didn't ask me. He asked me if I could ask. He could
You
ask
could ask your mom, huh? We did.
And I told him, yeah, be all right. I wasn't didn't have nothing else.
And the third part, your ceremony, do you remember how?
Oh
where-
yes, oh yes.
The frogs there?
No, but no
Did you wear a
frogs.
white dress?
No.
By the whole 7th grade class.
What'd you say?
He said we invited the whole 7th grade class.
Mom, now you're starting to laugh like
This
Mama.
video, we might.
No, that way.
On the internet and become rich.
I'm watching
What are you
TV, this is
doing?
on phone video.
If this comes up on funny film videos, I'm killing everyone, especially about the book. But anyway, what was I saying before I was so rude?
What you
The
wore?
What you
dress.
wore, your blue
Oh,
dress?
I think I maybe spent enough money to buy me I had a pretty blue silk dress, had little sandals. Shit, I paid 75 cents for them.
How'd that look?
$1, I think it's close to $1.
What
The
dad,
patent leather.
what dad have on?
Dad had on a pair of blue jeans and a blue shirt. And then had his hair slicked back.
Now, be honest, did you really, really love down to
With
water?
all my heart.
Did you think he was the most handsome man around?
Yes, he was.
Yes, he
Every
was.
girl in the country wanted him. I
He
just-
picked the feistiest, most.
There's woman in the
And we
cabinet.
never like that.
Yep.
Where did you live, Granny? Where were you guys at when you met him?
Well, we moved down to the little house under the hill by the bridge.
She was wide open to go find it one day. The little house on the
You know where
It's not there no more.
What town
The
though?
bridge is. You know where
Yeah.
the quarry is?
Yeah.
Where?
Down below
This
the
in
flat
Lily?
row?
This in Lily?
No, we're back over
Down
in
past Aunt Bobby's?
toward
Yeah.
You know where Aunt Bobby lives
Yeah.
now?
That little bridge you go
That
across.
bridge that goes.
If you go around the hill,
that
Al,
curve,
you've
yeah.
been there, ain't you?
Yeah, I know where it's at.
There's a
There's
spring
a big
down there.
quarry up there. Well, that quarry used to be where the boys went to smoke it after.
Talk about going straight instead of turning right.
When you come down around there and went across that bridge,
Isn't that where she got her water? Spring
the
water?
spring, when you got across the bridge, they had a spring.
Yep.
Of
I know,
concrete.
I remember that.
And that's
That's
where I
sad.
carried my water from.
I just realized I do remember that.
But
Now,
Mom
I'm
and Dad lived there, but then they had moved out. Well, it was for rent when me and Joe got married, so we moved in. And that was where our home was.
And that's where you made your cardboard intakes.
No, that was in, no, you're way off up there where we were.
Cardboard in.
Yeah.
Oh, you had
But
cardboard
we
then.
used orange crates. Crates that oranges came in, I covered
Man,
them.
I have not advanced much at all in the years.
Okay, move on to the next question, just so we get through all these. How did you find out about your first pregnancy? How'd you react and what Papa said?
Well, I didn't know what it was.
Yeah, right.
Oh, he was tickled to death. And Mom was tickled. Mom was the
Well, I
one told
was
me I was
just-
pregnant. I didn't go to the doctor. She
I
just
was
told me.
daddy's
She just was, you know,
until he come along.
How far along were you when you found out?
I don't know.
Ready to go?
Either a maid
In the screaming, she was in the screaming stage.
So wait,
No,
let's-
I didn't have
now
no
in that
trouble.
day you didn't go to a hospital. You probably had it someone. Wait, no, it's just 1960.
So she did crawl out of a rock.
Wait, that's
I told you I was hatched.
No, I had
your
a,
birth change.
yeah.
Did you go to the hospital there?
Yes.
You would. That's 60 something. I'm going.
No,
back to
Joe
when
was
she would've
stationed. Joe had went. We got married in 1950. 51, August 13th, 1951. Dad went into the Air Force. He got transferred to Scott Air Force Base.
Oh, that's right.
I stayed home with Mom. Then I moved up here with Dad, and Rhonda was born at Scott Air Force Base.
I didn't know that.
been. That's what's wrong with it.
When were you
She
married?
was born up here at Scott Air Force Base.
When were you married, Granny?
June 23rd, 1950.
Okay, so there's more than 9 months there. Okay, good.
We had been married 18 months before she was born.
Could be like me. I went to the 4th grade class and told him I was 2 months premature. Come on, I'm sorry.
Oh, did you really?
Florida.
I tell you what.
Okay, I think I already know the answer to this one, but what are your favorite songs, and why do you like it?
Oh boy, God, I got so many songs.
Give me
I
two
Can
of
See
them.
Clearly Now.
That's the one she wants.
That's one of my favorites. Johnny Nash. I like that old time rock and roll
Bob
by
Seger.
Bob
Yeah.
Seger.
No Bob Marley?
I like Bob Marley too, but you asked the favorites.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about your favorite movie?
My favorite movie would have probably been Spencer's Mountain.
Yeah, I
Oh,
love
that thing
that
makes
one.
me cry.
Yeah, it does.
Oh,
Every
man,
time you
back
watch
to
it.
that.
That was probably my favorite movie. Spencer's
So
Mountain.
anybody
You've
over
never heard of
45,
Spencer's Mountain?
raise your hand. if
Oh
you've
my
seen
gosh.
Mountain.
You can tell who
It's
the
got
whole
Henry
is.
Fonda in it.
Who?
Henry Fonda.
Jane Fonda?
Good
Jane
Al.
Fonda's dad.
Al, you're over
I've
the
heard
other
of it, but I've
side.
Jane Fonda's old, isn't she?
I beg your pardon?
Wait,
And
who's
Jane
that?
Fonda.
I may have seen it, but I don't remember.
I'm gonna stop.
I don't remember.
I'm gonna get in trouble here.
Between those two is my favorite.
Ryan Man.
So wait a
the
minute,
one
wait.
who's in there.
The Quiet Man.
The Quiet Man.
Where
That's my
he beat
favorite.
the tar. He went and
He
drove
went
her
back to
home.
Ireland, Scotland.
He got and drove her home. She left him and he drove her home, Maureen O'Hara. And I like that one, but Spencer's Mountain has always probably been my very favorite movie.
What
that
was
one
the
down.
first movie you ever seen at the drive-in?
I don't remember. I'm probably with my boyfriend, we didn't miss it. We missed it all.
That was a dumb question.
That's more Dusty needed to
Don't go
know.
to drive-ins and watch movies, man.
No,
She used to take us to the drive-in.
we went to the inside movies. We went to the Viv and the Hip every week we went.
The Viv?
That was a theater in Corbin. Daddy crank up the A model and we put 8 or 10 people in it and away we go. They was hanging all over it.
Yeah, life on the floor.
That's the truth. They would. They'd be hanging on the running boards and riding on the back.
Beverly Hillbillies.
That is the honest to God. Well, there was Ray Cobb, Glenn Roark, there was Ray Cobb, Glenn Roark, Hubert, Bobby Cooper,
Dad.
me, Bobby, Geraldine, sometimes Kathleen. There was about 8 of us kids in that car. And we all went down, parked behind the ice cream store and bought a pint of ice cream piece, sit on the hood of the car, eat our ice cream from time to the movie.
How much was a pint of ice cream?
That's probably a dime. Or a nickel, might have been a nickel.
Whoever won the fist fight got the rocket.
But Dad's car, when he got done, it was just a mess. Ice cream is hot. Ice cream just smeared all down the window. Dad said, I can't seal it.
Why? You got them hanging out there. Why didn't they navigate for you? Left, right,
Everybody
left, right?
gathered at our house on Friday nights because that was the cereal night. We was going to see the Black Whip. Daddy called it the Black Whoop. Me and Bobby knew when Friday nights came, we'd go sit on the bed and watch them go to the table and eat. And they'd say, well, I guess they ain't eating no supper, so I guess we just won't be going to see the Black Whoop. It was a Black Whip. Daddy called it the Whoop. And boy, we perk up, run and eat real quick, so we get to go. That when they do, we were home.
Well, what was it?
We got to go to the movies.
Oh, that's what it was
See
called.
Hopalong Cassidy and John Wayne and Roy Rogers. 30 minutes over Tokyo. And that during the war, you remember.
Here we
I
go.
like those movies, as a matter of fact.
Okay. Do you remember your first car, your automobile, horse, buggy?
Do you want to know the
Flintstones?
first thing I ever drove? Okay.
Now, this is where we get
Dennis
this.
Lockerbie had a flying saucer, we named it. I mean, you'd be going down a curb and the door would fall off. You'd never knew what would fall
I
off.
told you, it explains everything.
We went over the hill and the windshield fell off. Well, I turned that corner, I was going 85 or 90 kids hanging there. Where's more than killed every one of them? Then he didn't have lick stints letting me drive.
No, that was your first car?
No, it was Dennis.
Is that, what was your
In
first
other
car?
words, she destroyed his first
I
car.
drove his car, I drove a wagon. Daddy didn't know I could drive it. He didn't know I knew G from home. But he left me down in the woods with a load of logs. And I thought I'd help him. So I just pulled that wagon right out and took him right up in front of the yard, tickled him to death. He went in there and told Mom, said, Myrtle, come out here and look. Said, you ought to see Ruby, she's brought that wagon to the house. She drove that wagon to the house. Tickled him to death.
What was the first car you and Dad ever had after you got married?
Good,
It was a 1946 Plymouth.
Plymouth. All right, what's the joke?
Because we lived in St. Louis on Westminster Street, and the guy across the street, he had one just like it. And we was moving to the changing apartments. And Joe went out and loaded all our furniture in that man's car. And he got in there and tried to start it. And the key wouldn't fit. Got to look at it in our car. Said no. He said, oh God, help me get this car. Before that man discovers it.
The
I
guy
can
find
see
out.
Dad doing
Never
that.
did know it. And you ought to see us dragging stuff across the street. That's what we had.
Oh, we got
Well, what was the one that Dad took the seat, we had to use chairs?
Oh, that was when we lived at Blank's. And I sent him to the store and he had the seats out of it. So he put a chair in there. Sat in the front seat in a chair.
Yeah, the seats on.
Yeah.
Yep, I remember
And he had
that.
seats out, so I had to have what it was in the store. And he just grabbed a chair and stuck it
We
in.
must have went with him.
Got in a chair and sat there and held on to the
The
wheel.
rocking chair.
No, it wasn't a rocking chair, just a single chair. He drove over the hills of Georgetown and back.
Over the hill.
Funny.
No seatbelt laws back then, were there?
Well, there wasn't no kind of law. Didn't matter.
for man for himself.
Oh, we
Okay.
made our laws as we went.
Next question is, what major changes have you seen in your lifetime? And how old were you when they happened?
That's an essay, that takes research.
Lord, honey, that ain't right.
Do we have enough time?
That's a catalog.
No time for that one?
What's the biggest change you think you've seen over your lifetime?
Children. The way the children are being raised.
We're shaking her fist.
There's a right, spoil the child.
No, sir.
Everybody get away.
No, sir. When I was growing
Back
up,
up.
you worked. You worked.
No, we didn't.
You
We
didn't
went
get
out here.
presents all year. You didn't get
Yes,
presents
we
all
did, we
year.
worked our butt off in
We
it.
went
You
out
got a
here
little
because if
few
you
presents
had
at
an idle
Christmas.
moment, she'd find something.
Yes, she
would.
did.
That's it.
It sounds like
And the
an
rest of the
CJ
time,
Got
if
your
you
chores
ate,
done, you
you
skadoodle.
worked
Come
your
by
behind
honestly.
off. And if
She
you
see
didn't
you
work
standing
on a
around, she said,
job and bring
"You got
home
anything
money,
going there?"
which back when I was growing up, there was no
So you learned real quick to do what she told you
Kim.
and get after
Then you
it.
worked at home.
Kim,
I invented the yarning board.
I licked.
Yeah, and she
I
passed
did.
it on down to us.
No, not the yarning board. They come out with different ones.
Smellably, I could smell it. What was it, washing, when she would wash clothes in that big old tub, every day you get off the school bus, you could smell that. And to this day, I can still smell that, and I knew when I got off that bus what was in
You're
store.
alive, ain't you?
That
You get
meant
with germs.
baseboards, everything
No
had
thanks
to
to
be
you.
washed.
Make sure it's clean.
We're alive, no thanks.
She would
You
mop,
just beat us.
going out the door, every trip we ever made. Remember her mopping out the back door? And Dad say, Ruby, what are you mopping for? Well, if someone breaks in, I wanted to have a clean house.
Well, I ain't want nobody coming to see my house dirty.
Well, that's,
Oh,
family
happy
here.
come. Oh, I hate it.
And I had to rinse the mop because I didn't want germs getting in it while I was.
yep.
And she slapped me one time.
Well, I like that, so they may not like that plastic.
Well, I
16, and she said,
rinsed
"Go
my
clean
mop
your
out.
Yeah, well, let's
house
see
like
what
a
happens
pigsty."
when you get your kids and try to get them clean, but we had to do. They don't do nothing.
If I get my kids to do cabinet with Granny usually will do, I'll be
Listen,
proud.
they cleaned with a toothbrush.
That's what I say.
Amen.
My baseboards were clean.
That's right.
Look how, what good
You
people
could have
they
ate
turned out
on my
today.
floor.
When we washed dishes, if we didn't do them right, she took every stinking one there was around and made us do them all.
Well, if you ain't gonna do it right, don't. If you ain't gonna do it right, don't do it at all.
And she didn't believe in switches this long. She liked them lasso kind of wrapped around 4 times so they go out to the driveway and back.
Yeah, but the only catch was that you very seldom ever had to do it but once.
Amen.
For the
I ain't
same thing.
stupid. I ain't into pain, thank you.
For the
Oh,
same
well,
thing.
I kept doing it over and over and over again. I
Yeah,
never
you
pick
were
up.
very bright.
No, I wasn't.
Well,
learned
you
to run
just didn't
real
repeat the
fast.
same thing. You might do something a little different. But Kids always got warned ahead of time. I
Yeah.
always warned
Yeah,
you.
you always went, cock that eye, we knew,
Yeah.
oh, we are dead meat.
That middle name,
When I
Oh,
took
yeah.
them somewhere,
They
I
say
just
this full
went like
name,
that.
we're dead.
yeah, there's no escape.
When I done that, they went,
She could be at a party.
I had a class.
I
She could be across the
don't
room
remember
from
good,
you.
but I think I have that from you. Bobby says I need that.
She could be across the room from you at a party and you be doing something she didn't like, she'd go. And you knew it. She knew you were gonna get it. I don't know if ends or don't.
Alan, was that true with you?
What?
Did she
Oh,
do
he
that
was
to
a
you?
No, he got my
He got
everything.
He
I
was
got
daddy's
whooped all the
pet.
time. What are you talking
Well,
about?
I got hands on my shoes.
We got it up and down the
So
legs, we
damn
were like a
family
zebra.
don't
They look like they served time in
Look
prison.
at a zebra. He got whooped on the shin.
Bull.
Yeah, you're really hurting him.
It's either that or we took the whippings for him.
Well, you
Yeah,
did.
what's
wrong with that?
We were-
Well, it's because I was the one
I call that
taking the
smart on
whippings,
my
that's why.
Yeah, no doubt.
Well, yours were the one hung over me. What's that? Okay.
Okay,
Green.
5, 3, 2.
Next question.
next question.
Yeah.
What are 2 or 3 of your
Yeah.
favorite recipes?
Sit
And
here,
who taught you how to make them, or where did you get the recipe?
That
Yeah,
had to come from Kim.
yeah, they're videotaping it, interviewing.
The 3 that I get the
Diaries.
most requests for are
Yeah.
my chocolate cheesecake and my oatmeal
you doing?
cake.
Mhm.
And
I'm playing night.
I can't think of anything else.
And where'd you get your 2 recipes
Well,
from? Did you get them from your mom or you?
Uh,
I'll be fine.
no, they came from
I'll give you a call if I start out. I
probably,
won't just-
I don't remember what, I'm so old. Probably from Stella
Who was Stella?
Roark, Glenn Roark's mother.
Another distant cousin.
Hubert.
Inbred.
It was not. Make you think you
Just,
inbred.
I'm just taking a shot at it to
Yeah,
see
but
which
they're
one I
interviewing
missed.
mom and
Well, it
video.
wasn't that.
They're interviewing mom and video.
Okay, but that's,
All right, sweet.
Okay?
a lot of them I got out of magazines. Tried about on you guys.
Mhm.
What's that?
My recipes, I just got them out of magazines to try them, and I only had one this week.
Mhm.
Which one was that, liver?
It was a macaroni casserole, but it called for dried mustard. That's what it
Mhm.
is. Outside that, that's all.
Okay. What stands out as the happiest day of your life?
They shit me.
Oh, that was me.
You know,
I was first.
But let me just have it.
That's the way we
I
did
don't
it.
ever remember, I don't believe I had the happiest day. Because I've had too many.
Mhm.
I've had too many happiest days.
Name a couple.
I can't name them. off my-
Grandchildren?
Oh, grandchildren were
Missy?
always.
When Missy was born?
Great
I
grandchildren?
guess, no, it's just, you can't, you won't understand because you're not old enough.
Did any of them involve the rabbit weed or whatever it is?
Best cartwheels of her life.
I don't remember, I guess you might say,
Jamaica. Are you going
that
to
was, I was happy there. I liked it there, but I wouldn't want to just stay forever. There's too many happy moments I could never go back.
And it's true, the woman can make a salad at a restaurant, like when she was the salad of elk, she made everybody happy around her. So that seemed like her happiest day. Whenever,
She sure has
to me.
changed.
out in work for her, she's a ball of fire.
But now it's just,
That's a trait I didn't see.
just a lot of,
Mhm.
there's just too many happy days.
Good. You have a saddest day?
That's
I'm
next.
still waiting for that one myself.
We don't wanna go there.
No,
Talk
Okay.
about no.
All right. Next question is, and you can take as long as you need to answer this one. Okay, this one may take a little thought, but just how far was that hill up? Just how far was that walk to school? Uphill both ways in the snow, barefoot.
Well, I never went barefoot.
That's not what you told us.
Well, now maybe my shoes wasn't best in the world, but it wasn't barefoot.
Depends on which grade.
Which
she's
day
talking
she's
to.
on.
Yeah, really. No,
Mondays she didn't have
What
shoes.
ball was she
Fridays
we
she
did
did
walk. Oh God, we did. We walked 3 to 4 miles.
Wow.
It was 3 to 4 miles of Pariston.
Walk
We
home
left the,
every night.
yes, you
That
did.
driveway of ours was a mile
And you
long.
waded snow every step of the way.
Is that from here to Burton?
And we're not talking little
Four
strips of
miles?
snow like we used to, but
So
that
did
bridge
you
we
really
had.
Burton's
walk
like
in
2.5, 3
school?
Yes,
miles.
Yeah, it's probably about 2.5
Yes,
Never
ma'am.
did you
miles.
make that natural lawnmower?
Yeah.
It's an old saying and a joke because every road.
Maybe from here to the Love Gap.
Like everybody made.
Cause I had to, car broke down.
We had deeper snows more often.
Mm-hmm.
And we have light skippy snow.
I remember that.
No, and
We
that's
used to
true,
have
I saw
snow,
that on
snow.
the Discovery Channel, the pattern of the,
Oh man, we had snows. Big.
they're predicting it coming back like that one.
Okay. If you could be president for a day, what would you do?
Oh, good lord.
She does just
I
smoke.
don't want to be president for a day. I want to be president for longer than that. So then, I'll have to serve 2 terms to get this mess straightened out. I'd have to get reelected. First thing I'd do is I'd
That
tell
sounds like
our
Bush
rich
now.
man, we're going to have some changes made around here.
Mm-hmm.
We got people over here to take care of. We need to help the people over there as much as we can, but charity begins at home, and we're going to start doing it here.
Charity begins with
Oh, for you.
No, that's not. Caring for other people is what the world should be made about.
And legalizing, what was that stuff?
Rabbit weed.
Rabbit weed, it's already legal. You can smoke that anytime.
Okay, what is the most interesting place you've ever been? And just so you know, prison does qualify. Prison qualifies as interesting.
That would be very interesting. I'd like to go into a prison, take my notebook, I always wanted to do this, and just go in and talk to the prisoners. I always wanted to interview John Wayne Gacy. I'd make Jim stop in the car and let
That
me,
goes back to the
we go by there
surgery,
and I'd make him stop in the car and let me stare up
you
there.
getting a pattern there?
And I'd give anything in the world to got out and let me in and interview
Bingo.
him.
Did you get that shot, Kim, that book? There is a
We're talking
fly
about
in your
your book.
house, yes.
Huh?
We're trying to connect the dots between John Wayne Gacy, your aspirations to be a doctor and cut on people.
Yeah,
The books you read.
yeah.
If we dig up your backyard, are we gonna find something?
Honey, you don't want to do that.
Why do you think she was in
Why
such
do you
a
think all
panic
them
when we
trees
got
are
our
growing
water?
back there?
Why do you think my trees grow so well?
So what about the most interesting place that you've been though?
Interesting. The nut house, I would say.
I believe it.
No, it is very interesting. Especially if you're sane. That was some of the happiest days of your
Wasn't
life.
that fun?
I like it.
We had a good time, didn't we?
But-
We were saying, we were just in
But you can't let them know you're okay or they'll let you
there.
out.
And you told me.
They had to throw me out at Benton.
Yes,
I wasn't about to come home.
Yes, they did.
Yes, the left side.
No, but I remember the day
They
Patty
told
went
me,
to
he
get
said,
you in
you really,
St.
you
Louis.
gotta go home. You've been here over 2 weeks. And I said, I don't want to. He said, well, yeah.
Yeah, now she's trying to get me to do it.
I'd go.
I would go.
You'll go with
Someone
me?
wants to
Good
put my
Lord,
You
bill.
wouldn't, you just nip the
That's
telephone,
not
order a
crazy people want
hamburger.
that. That's sane. See, insane people don't want to go. Sane people want to go.
You betcha.
See,
Well,
we
I
love
love
Betty up to the T.
Her jeans.
I loved it.
But she checked in, and she would, and I have. You
They
gotta check
won't
in.
let me, and they keep telling me I'm
Well, they
safe.
couldn't
No,
get
I'm
me
not.
to leave. They couldn't get me to leave. Mitchell was the head of this down here in Benton. He said, Ruby, you've been here over 2 weeks. You gotta go. I said, but I don't want to. And I said, I'll never get to go shopping again. Because, buddy, they let me go shopping because I had fast.
And I could not catch it because I went in after you came out, and they still talked about it. I mean, I was in
Well,
there.
they had to take that one
They still
little girl
talk
and
about
take her away. So she
Oh.
wouldn't know I was gone.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, what,
That's macabre, really.
name a place that you haven't been to that you'd like to travel to? Is there any countries or any,
Ireland.
Ireland?
I think Ireland would be a beautiful
That's
place.
where I'd like to go.
I think that'd be a beautiful place.
The scene of a famous grisly murder or what?
Not for them haunted castles or nothing.
Oh, I like them.
I could make some grizzly stuff once I got there.
Where does our family come from? Dad,
Back your nut out.
is there any gypsy blood in us whatsoever?
Probably.
That's what worries me the most.
No, it's,
I pipe back.
no,
What
as
all
far as
kind
I
of blood
know,
have we
it's
got?
English, American Indian, can't think.
Ain't no Hitler in there, is there?
I believe I got some Hitler.
I know you.
No
Well,
doubt.
I would never persecute a person because of his religion.
You just pushed your little kid. Torture them, pull their
No.
legs off.
You said, once before you said Cherokee. And
Cherokee and Blackfoot.
yeah, Black.
With their
That explains the
branches on
tequila
it.
problem then. That explains the tequila.
No, we were good drums.
I know,
I
I
made
wasn't.
good cookies. Did anybody get the cookie recipe?
Yes, Granny.
I thought it was cute.
I like
What's the hardest decision you ever had to make?
I'll leave that blank.
No, you're blank. Okay. Compare living.
I only had one, and it was the hardest one I ever made in my life. And I would never make another.
Okay. Compare living in a home with dirt floors to the modern era home. Which one's better?
Huh?
This is Kim's question, by the way. Compare living in a home with dirt floors to the modern era
Got
home.
that evil
Which one is
look,
better?
Kim.
Oh, with a dirt floor, you don't have to worry about getting it dirty. Well, there ain't no comparison. Anybody be kind of stupid to pick a dirt floor, and you could be wrong.
What about the days when the houses that didn't have air conditioning? What
Well,
was
there
it?
had trees
I was-
and branches on
You
them.
talking about yesterday?
The trees had branches on them.
Breathe their air.
We didn't have that fly ice cream.
We didn't have regular heat, we had stoves
And fans.
and fans, yeah.
And quilts.
Yep.
And
Lots
And
of quilts. Lots of quilts.
Okay. Who were your childhood role models or heroes? None? John Wayne Gacy.
No, it wasn't. No, that came along later.
What was your most embarrassing childhood experience?
Oh, great.
I
You're
know
not
which
gonna
one
have to
was-
My
buy
most
it again.
embarrassing childhood experience. The day Bobby Cooper whipped me. Because he was the only one in the school could get the job.
So that's a boy.
Yeah. Yeah, Bobby Cooper.
And you're
He
embarrassed.
laid it on.
Why did he whip you?
I guess because he's the only one good.
Everybody else had tried it, lost.
Nobody else tried it because they didn't want their brains knocked out with a piece of wood. So that probably was my most embarrassing, because I don't embarrass easy.
Mm-hmm.
That's the truth.
I mean, if I make
I
a
mean, when
mistake,
you go
say,
into
okay,
a
so I
place
made
to
a
eat,
mistake.
and you're sitting there sticking jelly things in your purse and salt and pepper and ashtrays, nothing embarrasses her.
Well, I'm not easily embarrassed,
I believe it.
but it is embarrassing to get your hind end off and beat off after you've been used to holding the black belt. I mean, that's true.
Okay.
Bobby.
But, what was your proudest moment? Do you have a proudest moment?
That would go back to.
Did you go back and whip that boy a day later?
No, I never could.
Okay.
Never could.
Did you ever try? I'm curious.
Oh, sure.
You kept going after him? Okay.
No, I didn't keep going at
She
it.
doesn't give up easy.
No, he whipped my hind end, fair and square, and it's that simple.
So no vengeance on you, you didn't plot nothing on him?
And I guess the rest of them.
He's not buried out in the backyard, is he?
No, because his dad beat the living tar out of him, and
Yep.
he went around then and started fighting back, and people left him alone. You have to fight back in life. People will walk on you if you let them, you can't believe that.
No, I'm saving that one.
Oh, okay.
What kind of things did your parents like doing?
I think they like fighting more than anything. They were
Makes
physical
sense.
customers.
I know
Well,
where
and Daddy
we're going.
always got the worst in.
Except for me.
You'd think he'd learn.
Yeah.
Like
Amen.
mother, like daughter.
She shot him, she
Yeah.
cut him,
Mother like daughter.
and you'd think that Daddy had had enough,
You would think.
but he just kept coming back for more. Of course, that settled down there in later years, because I left home.
Okay. growing up, how did you get along with your siblings?
Didn't have no siblings.
No siblings?
Well, I did cut a deal almost on Bobby one time.
How'd they go?
Well, she wanted to lean it one way, I wanted to lean it another, and I knew if we leaned it the way she was going, it was gonna bounce back and get us. Because we'd already sawed it down. But if it would have failed, it'd have fell on the house. We would have taken that into consideration when we sawed it too.
Okay, that explains why I'm into saws and stuff.
So,
What was your first job, and how did you get it? And how did you get there, would be another question.
I walked.
You walked?
You walked.
I went to work at the Venetian blind factory.
Wish I had settled in there.
Oh, I couldn't make them back
Where was
then.
that at?
St. Louis.
St. Louis?
Yeah. Then I just worked for a little while because Rhonda was baby. And I didn't want to leave her, so I needed something. Or we needed something, so I went to work and got it.
Funky.
And once I got it, why, I quit. And then next time I needed something, I went to work at the pencil factory. And I worked at the White Castle place till I ate.
White Castle.
I was eating up all the profits.
Oh, Lord.
I remember you had a uniform you wore, and
Yeah.
that hat
Yeah.
on your head.
I remember that picture.
Yeah. But I got fired from that too.
That too?
I always got fired.
What is the nicest thing a friend has ever done for you?
Like this one.
Oh
Her to
God,
apart.
I've had so many nice things come to me in my lifetime. Oh my God.
You can't say one, because then if
There
anybody
ain't
watches
one.
this.
Because there ain't one, there's just lots of them.
Mhm.
Like coming home that day and there's that big bag, just out of the blue.
Yeah.
There's that paper bag out there and they bought me that little thing up there, which I ain't traced down exactly who all was in on that until today, but
Mhm.
there's a bunch of them up at Gibby's. Just made a lot of friends.
Mhm. Okay.
There's just so many of them.
Did any historical or political events have a special influence on you?
Yeah, I think Robert Kennedy. And I think they were good people.
Mm-hmm.
Not personal lives, I don't care about their personal lives. I'm talking about how their feelings for the poor people.
So they just influenced how you look at the poor and
They,
Other
well, I
people
already
do.
had that
Mhm.
in me, but I liked it about them, yeah.
okay. Is there anything that you still want to accomplish?
Yes, to stay away from my house. Oh, there's, yeah, I'd like to go back to work. I like work.
Just any job, or you have a specific
No,
place
well,
you can go?
I don't really care what I do.
Cleaning houses, cooking?
Yeah, some houses.
Mhm.
Making salads, you
Fancy
put
Can,
on steak.
can you make it to Marion? Once a week?
I can't make it.
Dave's not real good, is
Back at the Elks last week in trouble.
You was.
Yeah, Scott.
Oh my. And she, when you go to get a salad, oh, if she didn't have that tomato or you wanted it, she'd turn it into you. I mean, if she didn't have that salad in her hand saying, here you go. I mean, you grab 5 salads at a time and she'd have your 5 waiting there ready.
Pretty, and then
I
I
mean,
said,
they were
"Oh,
pretty.
I love
They
it."
really
Wait for
were.
the next rush
She made sure they were pretty.
till they glued me down.
But you'd just be tapping. You need your salad and she'd just moving that tomato. It's like damn tomato in there.
Hang on, time out. I gotta change tapes.
Oh, man, we only got one question, let's see.
Oh.
Well, you don't need to take.
That probably make it to Washington and
I'll have a cigarette up now.
can you put your old cigarette back up? You have to hold the cigarette up.
Hang on, Mom. Hang on. I'm coming around.
You
Oh,
might
I'm sorry, whoever I just hit.
Or you might be a redneck.
Hit the chair.
You're smoking.
Hey, you heard
I got
that?
it,
You
too.
heard that joke? What's the last thing the stupid
got it, too.
redneck ever said? Hey y'all, what's this?
Mom, do we only have one more question?
All right.
Okay,
What did you do? I told you.
Yeah.
All of them.
well, we've already got through all of them, so,
Well, that was pretty good.
We appreciate you taking the time to give us a look into your life. So
Well,
very interesting. But we have one final question, and that is, if there was one very important thought, advice, or word of encouragement that you want to leave to your family, what would that be?
I'd say hang in there, aim, and keep at it, and work toward what you want to do. Stick with it. Don't ever stop work. If you do, you'll croak. Hang right in there.
Why's she looking at you?
No,
That's
I'm
making me
dead
kind of
serious.
nervous myself.
If I give you a piece of advice, that'd be what I'll give you. Don't stop working. Stay on your feet and go. And
So
do
she
anything else
saved
you
your
want.
lives when you were kids by making you use that toothbrush.
That's right. I kept you limbered up.
Amen.
And I limbered myself up in the cornfields. Yep. And the tobacco fields.
Yeah, here's an interesting question. Like, what future trends do you see based on everything you know and you experience? What future trends do you see happening, in America, across the world?
I see
Go ahead.
more automation, less people needed to do the job. You're going to see less people needed and more automation taking the place of people.
So what do you think will happen to those people that it takes the place of?
Well, pick up your Bible and read all about it. It'll tell you right in the pages what to expect.
Okay.
Because you can't get around that. That's the one thing you can't change. And that it's set down there, and that's the way it's going to be. No matter what we do.
Okay. Any other questions?
Now, has anybody got
Which
any-
one is your favorite child?
Well, it sure wasn't you.
Yeah, I was Dad's favorite. I was Dad's favorite. That counts.
Now, you said you were pretty surprised, you were happy and he was excited when you found out with your first. What happened by the time you got to this one? What was the reaction?
Oh God, not again.
Is that when you
Well-
started thinking that John Wayne Gacy?
No.
Because I could see.
I went to the doctor. Well, no thing when I got pregnant with
That
him,
was after I
I
was
just
born.
had that heart surgery.
Oh,
And the doctor had told me not to have any more kids, to wait a little bit. Another year. Well, it didn't happen like that. Things don't go the way they said. But anyway, I went to the doctor. I knew something was wrong with me. So I went to the doctor and he told me I was pregnant. Well, I cried all the way home. We wanted him, but we wanted to wait till that time was up to make sure that I was okay and didn't have no trouble. Which didn't happen like that, so I pulled off the side of the road. The cop pulled up beside me. I was having my head on the wheel crying. And he pulled up to see what was wrong with me. I said, I'm fine. Jim, what was his name? Went on home, but Joe, after he got home, found out about it, well, he helped him. Everything went just fine.
yes.
He about killed me because I had to have him twice. Because he was born and the doctor said, we want this baby. And Dr. Youngs had to go into the Army and reserves or wherever he was at, and Dr. Vickers took over.
I remember that.
And he should have known the baby was born face
Face
the
up.
opposite of,
Face up.
yeah, and he had to, I was having real troubles having him. And then he said, he stood beside me, he said, Ruby, if you want him alive, you better scream as loud as you want to, do what you want to. But hold it, and don't let up till he's born. And I don't know what was wrong with him, but he said, you'll lose him. Oh, buddy, believe you me, I opened my mouth and let out a scream, and I never shut up. I screamed to the top of my lungs.
I bet you
talk
did.
about, it was
Can you
painful.
imagine? Wow.
And Dad made it in. He was trying to get home to you kids. And it was winter, snow on.
That's when we run out of heat.
And well, darn it, we didn't run out of gas. And here he is, the poor guy. He had to go home to make sure to be there when the gas man got there for you kids. And he missed his birth. He come back and he was so upset because he wasn't there when I was born. And He was in the nursery, and Dr. Vickers said my nerves were so shot. He said, Ruby, he said, that baby is gonna scream from the time he's born till he's 10 years old or something like that.
And he did.
And he did.
He said, you're gonna have him a nervous wreck if you don't get yourself calmed down. And I thought, well, that's a bunch of bull, you know.
Yeah.
But he was born to swollen, and the rest of him wasn't.
Someone
They had
in the
spanked
hospital,
him.
they flagged for him to leave.
But not him, he came out swollen. And they said, everybody said every time they went to the room to see him, he was screaming. Took us 3 days to name him. I had a list of about 5 different people. So I said, I want to name him Paul Allen. Or Alan Paul. Either one would have been fine. Well, I made a list.
Cut one
I
out.
could have named him Wesley or Leslie.
Leslie, that's a good one.
I was gonna name him
John
Leslie,
Wayne.
Leslie, Joseph, Allen. I knew Allen Lansing was gonna be in there somewhere.
Lansing, that's neat.
But Dr. Young's was Paul Young. Was my doctor, so I wanted to name him after Dr. Young's and after Dr. Lansing. And,
Well, how did Dad get him?
well, I thought,
There was a lot of other men, but it wasn't.
well, see, Dad's name was Joseph, which is a good, strong man's name. And so I had 5 or 6 names there. And she come in, she said, you gotta name this baby before he goes home. And I said, well, I tell you what, why don't you go down through there and pick out the one you like. She went down and picked up, but Allen was in all of them. Every one of them. It was Leslie Allen, Wesley Allen,
Well, I'm glad you didn't go with that one.
Paul Allen,
I'll take what I got.
Paul Allen, Joseph Allen. She said, well, is your dad's name in here? And I said, yes, he is. I said, that's Joseph. And she said, let's name him after his dad.
Oh.
I said, suits me fine.
They were gonna name me Robin Denise.
Yeah, that
Robin
Did you ever
Denise.
have another name for me that you wanted to name me?
No,
Ma'am, I looked at
How'd
it
you
and
know,
said, she
how'd
looks like
you
a
know
penny.
to pick
That's
Ron?
how I got stuck with Patricia.
because I liked
You don't like
Rhonda. I
Penny?
read a book. It had the name Rhonda in it, and I liked it.
You don't like
Where'd you get the Vanessa from?
Because I used to know a girl named Vanessa. Was a foreign. She was, Italian, I think. Her name was
I
Vanessa.
always wondered that.
What about Denny's?
Denny?
I like horses.
I just always thought Denny was a pretty name.
And then Kimberly?
Kimberly was always one of my favorite names.
Cool.
That answers that one question you didn't answer. Ask her. He forgot to ask the one, who's your favorite grandchild?
See,
No, no, I said, who's your favorite grandson?
Yeah, but we know
Them
now.
are not fair questions. There's no such
Nobody
thing.
said it was fair. Life's not fair. Sorry.
You don't ask who favorites are because there ain't no
They're
such
all
thing.
favorites.
I got one more.
They're all
Lie.
precious in
How
their
many
own.
questions do we
Each
have?
one's got its own individual.
My last question is, what do you think is the most effective form of child discipline?
They ain't nothing on earth takes the
Hey,
spot
come
of
on,
a good
switch
switch.
across the driveway.
A switch, you don't have to keep repeating.
Now, I gotta ask you a question about the switch, because that's an interesting piece. Do you send the child out to cut his own switch?
Yes.
Or do you cut the switch?
I get my own. Each
get
street
your
are good remember. They don't injure a kid, except maybe make a bloody mark, which it'll heal.
This is where your doctoral skills come in, right?
Oh.
Repairable
No.
wounds?
How many questions
That's
left now?
exactly right, there ain't nothing to. You don't sit around and talk to children. No, you don't. They don't understand their children. But you don't fly in and beat the tar out of them either.
Just
You
leave bloody
first
marks.
try to explain. Stitches.
Nose, just good.
First, you try to explain why they don't do this.
Do you remember that?
Well, I had 4 of his 9
When
out
she was
trying to
doing all
explain
that.
it.
Well, it wasn't us, I can tell you that.
How many times did you have to switch Alan?
Oh, he never got
Alan
switched.
never
He was
got-
the
Well,
weenie
did
of the
too.
family.
I have to say, I honestly took some of the beatings that boy should have had.
Well, she did, because she was stupid.
Yes, I have to agree to that one too.
But you've got what you deserve.
That sounds good, you know that?
How many
That don't sound
questions
good
do
at
we have
all.
left now?
You don't, people nowadays,
So did the guy
That's
buried in the
what's wrong with
backyard.
everybody's gonna pass a law that won't let you raise your children.
That's right.
Now, there's a difference in abusing a
How many
child
questions we have
and
left?
beating the shit out of it.
Yeah.
Pardon my language, but that's the way it is. You don't have to beat a kid. Well, yeah, it don't hurt once in a while to beat him.
Did it hurt
No,
yet?
but,
Oh, no.
but you don't need to be whipping while you're real angry.
Hey,
I
have you,
guess you
How many
waited.
times did you not do that?
Well, I didn't know that then.
have you ever, during the course of your time being a mother, did you ever announce it the way that Bill Cosby did? And he said, "Let the beatings begin."
No,
No, she didn't give you that much head start.
you didn't have that much chance to get away. And I
No,
couldn't
her way
take
of doing it was saying, Rhonda, Denny, you go out there and you catch that girl, you hold her so I can whip her.
That was Denny.
I ain't
He
gonna stand there and
got
take a beat
catch
no
her.
more. I'm like, I
And it
Chase
was
her
only
down.
her that I had to chase.
Hey, I could outrun anybody in school, I guarantee you.
That's how you learn to do that.
You didn't outrun that barrel lid.
No, we got the
But I
better
had
of
to
it.
come up on that lid and pound on her chest and say, yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
come
come
to
to
save the day. Big cape floating behind her.
That was Mighty Mouse, he was my hero.
We lived in trees, I think, most of our lives.
Oh my goodness.
It was funny. I tell you what, raising you wasn't easy, but we got
We
through
stayed
it.
outside a lot.
Yeah, we
You
did.
made
Well,
us stay
yeah.
outside. We played. We used our imaginations. We built things. We climbed trees.
That's-
We did things that kids don't know how to do now.
Yeah,
That
that's
was
true.
with us.
Yeah. Yeah, that tree out there used to be a tree out there.
Oh,
Yeah,
Lord.
it was duct taped.
Did you ever
Oh,
get
yeah.
notice,
Oh, yeah.
though, with our grandkids? With us, we lived in trees. With our
Yes.
grandkids, they go climb a tree, she'll say, that child's gonna break its neck.
Yeah, I
Get down
know.
that tree."
Yeah.
Well,
We don't
you
have to
get
sneak around and
softer
climb our
when you
trees.
get older
Yeah,
today.
we lived in trees. I did homework.
You couldn't
in
climb
trees.
your trees. Duct tape don't hold that long.
That wasn't me, that was Brittany.
Just all had a hand on
I
that.
didn't duct tape
All
on the
the-
tree.
You remember the time Dallas
This is an important
put his hand on
message from MCO Financial.
Yes, and this is,
If
I
you're
don't
trying
care
to
what the
reach
law
where
requires, I hope you're
Where's
recording
the
that. I'm 75 years old today, so just send out the sheriff. Bring on the clowns. Thank you.
Got to leave the thank you part off.
No, you gotta be polite.
We're polite the other day.
I know where you live and you're next.
I've got 2 holes left back there.
I want to accomplish one thing before I die. Those holes.
It was a treat, let me tell you, growing up in her.
Yes, it was. Well, you
We
got
had,
through with
I have to say,
You'll
as a
have to
child,
see parts of
I
this
had
film
a
of biography.
fun childhood.
World's most serial killer one of these days.
I said, as a
This was
child, I
a,
had a fun childhood.
insight of what things to come.
Inside
You
the
know?
line of the
But we should have noticed this and got
Except-
help right away.
We're gonna be studying this and all
We're
that.
waiting out,
We
several
stayed in
people
trees,
have paid
we
now that we've
climbed
trained.
all day long.
We're gonna just
Hey, ask your
start
granny,
digging
she-
back in the
She
backyard.
lived in a tree one day. Every time that horse come over that hill here, then he'd come
Yeah.
down, and then Penny come galloping over that hill, and then
Up the
she'd be
tree
right
we
back up
go.
that tree again.
Well, at least I didn't have sense enough not to fall out of a tree.
No.
Jumping limb from limb, her and Denny. Her being an old weenie girl, she jumped and got halfway across this big limb. There was a big bug up there. And she went, ooh! And she went, smash!
That's as bad as Denny. Remember when Denny had the rope, and somehow or other he slipped and it went up around his head, and he's holding
She's
on
up
to
there
it,
going-
and he said, "Help, help!"
And she's
I went
stomping his hand.
like this, and he's just dangling there. I got beat over that one.
We used to get boxes with other ones and take knives and stab them.
What?
That explains the books right there.
Good entertainment there.
Yeah. Homemade entertainment.
Jacob, go play in that box. Yes, you could have the kitchen knives. Sure, honey.
They don't ever do what the things that you just heard them say no about.
And her and Denny fought like cats and dogs. Mom and Dad, they went somewhere and
We couldn't
they had
leave.
no more got out the door till Denny and Rhonda got in it and broke Mom's new picture frame. When they broke it, they both went, well, I ran to the window and looked out and they were still trying to back out. They
Yeah, you
propped
always
it up,
took sides
knocked
with
you
whoever was
behind it.
winning at the moment.
Hey, I'm not no idiot.
And I always stepped in the pot and spilled it every time.
No, you were good for that.
The pot.
I hated that
Yeah, we
pot.
had an indoor pot.
For what? Oh, the toilet.
Jar.
The toilet?
Yeah, to potty in.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah. I tell you what, we woke up one morning, well, we'd had a heck of a windstorm. Woke up one morning and I looked out, and I thought, well, it looks awful strange out there. And got to looking, and there was no toilet. There sat the toilet, sitting up on the concrete.
There was no
but
cover
the
on the
frame
toilet.
was gone.
The building on top of the toilet was gone.
It had just blown the whole top off of it. We was out in the field, and Joe went and carried it and put it back on down on us.
Yeah, it was just
I had been the person in the toilet. And it said just not far from the road, you just pass the road and there was the toilet. Can you imagine a person had been in it?
We had this house that had those big high ceilings and had a drip from the ceiling.
I remember that.
Mom's famous temper, she got the broom, she was going like this, she got mad and she goes, I'll teach you. But she did, from then on in, it just, wasn't drip no more.
Honey, we lived in some old.
You remember Denny backing into that old red
Oh,
pot belly
man,
stove?
hurt the tar out of his butt.
I ain't never seen a boy run so fast in my life.
It took you long to get off of it.
He was stretching.
He was
stretching
stretching.
like that. He was
No,
stretching.
Bonnie was coming in.
Yes, Bonnie was coming in the
coming to
door,
visit,
and he was
he
in
was
that.
going to back up.
We had that tub in there by that old pot belly stove,
Oh, yeah.
and it was red. I mean, that sucker was red on the side, and he backed into it. And he run, man, did he run? I don't know what state he got to before he finished.
Burn a place on him,
Why is that so
But
funny?
it was funny at the time. It was for
Which one
us,
of
it
those
wasn't for
ones
him.
that dived into the pond and stuck their head?
That was me. I played that one.
What'd you do?
I dived in a pond, got
They had
head
You mean
built
first.
a
dove?
pond.
You dove in a pond, right?
Yeah,
And what happened?
I went head first in the mud, stuck straight up.
I did that too when I was a kid.
I don't know what made me do that.
I like the story about Alan getting bit by a snake.
Yes.
Oh,
He thought he was
yeah.
gonna bite it back.
He come in and said, Mommy, a snake bit me. He always, we
He
didn't tell
didn't
some
cry
hair
or
raise-
nothing.
No. He always did tell some hair raiser, so.
Well, tell us what happened.
But anyway, he come up to the door and I was sewing. And he come up to the door and he was playing outside. He come up to the door and he said, Mommy, he said, a snake bit me. And I said, it did. I said, well, you go bite it back. Because he was forever telling them big conglomerates. And he was playing outside on the porch. And then he came in, he said, Mommy, I'm thirsty. I said, okay, honey, let me get these 3 pins in and I'll get you some water. And Lord, I got him some water and took it out there and his whole leg was just swelled. You couldn't find the bite marks, it was so swollen. Oh, God.
You sent me somewhere up
And
there.
you went flying to Tommy Rourke as hard as you could go. And I'm running up the hill with him, or trying to. And the woman down the hall from you, she had been bit same exact way under the apple tree with a 42-inch copperhead. And that's what had bit him.
That's the same house.
But he said a little one had bit him because he was, they tell by the teeth.
I always worry about Derek doing that for some reason. I
But
just
that,
did this thing.
They'll go to apple trees, and her husband was leaving for work, and
This is
he
taking
was
me
saying
forever.
something to her, and she turned around and was walking, and wasn't watching where she was going, and stepped right on one. And it bit her twice, though, before she could get, off and back from it. It bit her twice.
Was he in?
His famous guy, he got bit and then swallowed paint. And,
Yeah.
Oh,
I
God, that
forever
kid
had to
was
run to the
forever.
neighbors for him.
Was he in the hospital for the snake bite?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
For like how long?
He was in there.
I remember his
You know,
leg
that's
was
probably
black.
my earliest memories right there.
I remember
Because
your
I can
leg
remember
was
being in there,
black
there was an old
moving
man
up.
next to me, and they had a curtain pulled, and he was breathing real heavy and real loud, and it was scaring me to death. I was in there by myself, and I could remember, it seemed like there was a soda machine or something right outside the door. I mean, it just seems like it was just right outside the door, and I can remember there being in there by myself, and I was scared to death. Yeah, that place. That old man, I thought there was a monster next to me or something. The way he's breathing. I guess he's having trouble breathing or something.
I remember that. Your leg was black.
Oh,
It was moving up, and you could
And
see
everybody
where it
kept
was
saying,
moving.
is he throwing up? Is he throwing up? You know you're supposed to be at signature stomach. Which ain't true. It's only true of grown up. grown-ups get sick at their stomach when they get bit because the fright scares them so bad.
If I'm afraid I'm gonna have a heart
That
attack.
causes
That's the
them
end of it
to
right there.
get sick at their stomach. And that's why they throw up. But the doctor said that. But his leg was so swollen they could not find no mark on him nowhere. But Dr. Adams said he has been bit by something very poisonous.
And they said the blackness,
And I told him.
if that had gotten so far up, it would have been what, in his bloodstream or something?
Yeah, it would have affected his nerves now.
Yep.
But he had, they just give him that. He said he thought, I told him what Alex said, that a snake bit him under the apple tree. And he said, well, we got a woman down the hall up there. She was
That
bit
done
by
it. I'm
one.
taking an axe.
So
to
he said,
my apple tree.
we're gonna give him the serum stuff for that. And that's what they, and then, when the swelling did start going down, you could see the marks. Real easy on your foot. And it got him right smack on the bottom, back to where he's healed, the bottom of his foot.
You never sat on the porch.
Just two little small pokes.
Never said a word. Because I was outside. I
Yeah.
remember that. I was outside. You never said a word. You never cried. You never screamed. Nothing.
No,
You just sat there.
but I seen it when I took him his
Yeah.
water. But he always told them big concoctions, you know, and he said, Mommy, a snake bit him.
Come here, doggy.
And I said, well, go bite it back.
Doggy.
But sure enough, he had that snake.
You
bit.
remember when you was watching, what was it, Tales of the Crypt?
No.
And you wanted to stay up that night. You thought you could stay up and handle it. And they opened that coffin and you started running
That was
in
the
there.
last straw, buddy.
Boy, he was going
Well, they showed scary shows all night. Then that Dracula come and raised up out of that casket, and that was enough, man.
Well, what happened? They had
I was
jumped
out of
the
there.
movie off. And you said, oh, it's okay, Mom, you can go on to bed. Said, they took my movie off. But they showed the previews. And you started showing that, and buddy, you went ape. And instead of leaving the light on, you turned it off. He hit the TV button, turned the TV off, then he was in total. And he was running around, and Joe's up, running in the hall, running into the broom closet, and making clothes hangers, and vacuum cleaners. You never heard such calamity. And Al's going around and around and around to get your steak, and we can't get it.
When the skeleton popped out of that.
It was hilarious.
That was funny.
When the skeleton popped out of
Oh,
Yes, it did.
That's not scary.
well, my battery's about to go here.
Al bro. It was cute.
What can we do? We can just walk. We got
Uh-oh. This is going to be another one. we have
Like we
like
had imaginary boards.
Let me get my glass. Oh, crap.
Oh, she's opening
Get my
it.
glasses.
Thought you liked some big bucks.
Good Lord, Bonnie.
Hey, so I want poo-poo.
Now, Bonnie was some of my good memories.
Yeah, Bonnie was Mom's friend. They
Yeah,
were
that's
together.
real friend. Real friend.
Yeah.
Now, stay calm. Let's
Let's
hear what they said to Bill.
Bill's been shot full of arrows.
Oh my God.
That's an optimist there. He says, stay calm, let's see what they said to him. He's shot full of arrows.
I don't want to jump to conclusion, but it looks like another year's shot to hell. Let me have that.
Hey, put them in there.
That is cute. Oh, that's cute.
Hey, you guys in there too?
They said to Bill, well, they ain't gonna say much of anything.
They just shot him full of arrows.
I can't find no place.
That's funny, I like that.
I seen that and I knew that had to be
That's it.
Yeah, my name's in there too.
another year shot down.
Great.
Cards and Christmas wrap. Really didn't know which
I
one
did
was
the Christmas
going.
wrap, Alan did the Christmas wrap.
Well, you never know which one to get for birthday and which one to get for Christmas.
Exactly.
Better than mine. Mine was Target wrap.
No, it ain't nothing I have to take out to the mailbox.
Uh-oh, priority mail.
But it can be his
Letter from the government.
I've learned that
Texas.
boxes are funny. You never know.
Put all this trash in there.
Let's see who's
Well, as soon as
name.
you open it, I'll tell you all my
All the
disclaimers.
trash in there.
Ordinarily, I wouldn't have got you that, but I liked it.
Whoa.
Belly seen it and showed it to me and asked me about it. I said, well, I like like it. You may as
Wait, I
well
got
try
one in
that.
there that was empty.
It's a little harder as she gets older, doesn't it?
Yeah.
These are cereal.
Well, I know you don't have much room for stuff.
No, I don't.
It's hooks to put on the wall to hang your stuff.
We thought this was really
It's a
pretty.
shovel to bury the body in the
Yeah, the
backyard.
body that's back there.
She's just a chihuahua.
Every inch of space.
Oh, more target wrap.
Oh boy, more right.
Well, it's glass, so you gotta
I know.
Okay,
The trouble is, I got all of them.
Guys, these are cereal.
Oh Lord, more tape.
Ethan, here's your skateboard. Get it, Jacob. Hurry.
Oh my God, it's spinning.
He just threw
It's
it.
the duck.
Ethan, he just threw it.
I don't have a duck.
Oh,
It is, it's spinning.
that's adorable.
Ain't that pretty? And I don't have one.
Fenton duck.
That is so
I don't
cute.
have
I
a
love
fenton
his
duck.
beak.
Ain't it pretty?
Dad, get out here
Hand painted.
with the non-garden person.
That is adorable.
It's a sign.
Very
Girl
pretty.
painted. It's signed.
Now look how clean that
Oh,
is.
that, I can tell Billy
Did you find
had
it?
some
Very-
had a hand in that.
I bet she
Yeah, she
appreciates
said, look at his bag.
That is so cute.
The little blue on
Yeah,
the,
she told me. Where
Did she tell you what it was?
No, he told me.
Little baby Lucky.
He is cute.
It's adorable. I love his
Are you
beak.
videoing this?
Yeah.
Billy, you just bought this because you knew you'd get it back.
That's what I was
Right
thinking,
after
but wasn't gonna
Christmas.
say it. When she's dead and gone.
When I'm gone, you can have this right along with that black Grecian urn over there.
I don't think Billy's into Fenton all that much.
No, she's not.
So, I mean,
She did want that urn.
Even though we died.
So
That's for
Dusty,
you, Denny.
yeah, that's probably my ashes.
Do I edit that out?
Present right there.
Now I can look and see where I'm going to be.
Dusty,
Well, at least it's a good looking
I had to
urn.
write it out and have Dusty be our witness.
It's cheap, $1.50. I mean, what more?
No, hey,
Well, my question that I was going to ask you is, I know my grandparents, you know,
I was like that.
Papa, I know the Davises, but I was just interested in their parents, Pat, and yours.
Andrew, James, you know, I've got it wrote down, but I can't.
Your grandma.
My
the one you
grandma
lived
was
with,
Susie Keaton.
Susie Keaton,
She was a Keaton.
and her husband would have been.
And was James R. Pat, Grandpa. James Richard Davis was his name. And then
So your
Pat,
grandma was a Davis then, after she married.
after she married, she was a Keaton.
But she was a Keaton.
came from out
Abraham
west.
was Keaton.
Yeah, she come out from out west somewhere. Don't remember, but
And how much Cherokee blood did she have, or was it Cherokee?
she
blood?
was, she come more from the western tribes. Grandma came from the western tribes.
She come from out
More.
west somewhere.
Yeah. And then, seems like I want to say Utah or somewhere like that. That Pat met her when he was in the cavalry or something. And they'd send him on missions, you know, when they were in the cavalry, because they carried them old big things, look like gladiator tools. That's what I call them. And flint loaders and stuff like that. And anyway, he met her out there. Best I get what from Grace told me. And she was Blackfoot, but then there was Cherokee in there. My dad had a lot of Cherokee blood on his side. His parents come from that end of it a lot. And so that's where I got my bloodline from the Cherokees. But it was Cherokee and Blackfoot, and I'm not sure what tribe the Blackfoot sprang from.
It's because they know we already know.
See, there was a lot of names, but they each had a tribe.
I'll get bit to
But
pieces.
the Blackfoot tribe was more warring. They constantly warred
Yeah.
with the other tribes. But I know that's what she was, Blackfoot, because I remember Mary Burke always coming to visit her, and she didn't speak real good English. She didn't speak good English. But then, I don't know exactly what happened. I'm pretty sure he was some Cherokee.
Now, were they Mama's biological parents? Both of them? Were they Mama's biological parents?
Yeah, yeah. Susie Keaton and James R. Davis. Yeah. There was no marriages and divorces.
See, I find that so ironic since she married their Davis. You
Yeah,
know,
ours was
some-
James Ordell Davis.
Ordell.
Any kin to Jefferson Davis?
We
Did we
know.
ever go back
Who
to Jefferson
knows?
Davis?
Nobody's ever checked the record. Grace tried and she traced it back as far as she could, and I'm sure Willa's got it today.
Who's Grace?
My Aunt Grace, I don't know if you ever remember, she was my aunt, my mother's sister. She was tax commissioner of London for 40-some years. and then
London,
daughter took it over.
Kentucky, right?
Peters.
I'm gonna tell Chris.
Roberts. She married Billy Peters first, and he was the tax commissioner of London. Well, as he got older and retired, she ran, and she got it. And she kept it for like 35, 40 years. Then when they beat her one time in the elections, they beat her one time, and their taxes got raised. So they put, next time they voted her back in. Well, then when she retired, why, her daughter ran, Willa. And she's in more my generation. And Grace got glaucoma. They all got glaucoma. They all died with blind.
Of glaucoma?
Yeah, they all went totally blind, every one of them.
Bring it in here. No. Don't take that out there.
I'm not.
They had glaucoma. Every one of them. Of the women.
There you go. Another strike. Oh, we've been counting strikes. Me and Patty been counting them all night.
They had to lead Pearl and Bessie and Grace. But Grace was more the traveler in the family. She went all over the world. You need to know this.
Don't move.
At the library in Benton, you can't check them out. They won't let you check them out. But in the library in Benton, they've got 2 books of who's who in women of the world. And in the what year did we go down there? Can you remember that?
19.
Bessie and all of them was there. I'm trying to judge by Al, how old he was.
No, I don't know.
I'm saying it was in the 70s because
1997.
I'm gonna say it was in the 70s, and it was a new book then. So if you look in the 70s and 80s, in the library they've got a book with a picture in it
Of Grace?
of my Aunt Grace. It'll say Grace Peters Roberts.
That's weird.
And it's got a little picture of her, and then below it tells all the accomplishments of her life to that date.
And that's ironic that they
And
that
then the other
picture is
book-
here in this town that we live in. That's strange.
But down there, I don't know if this library is big enough to carry it, but she showed me the book.
Ronnie,
And
you
it's
don't
in-
have yearbooks from Floyd Central, do you?
Who's who in women
I have
of
been
the
trying
world.
to get
She's in that one.
one from
Then there's
Floyd
another
Central
one.
by email.
Women
Yes.
of the world, just women of the world.
If you get it, I'd like to see it.
The one that's just
I'm going to,
women
yeah,
of the
'cause there's-
world. And
I'm
there's one
trying
that says
to
who's
contact certain
who
people
in women of
to
the
see
world.
just how their lives are going.
And her
I
picture's
need
in
the
one, and
yearbook
the other
to do
one's
it.
got a long write-up
Yeah.
about
How
it.
do you go about getting
Very
it?
interesting.
I looked it up on the,
But you can't check them out.
I went to Floyd Central
Who
High
is
School and
Papa's
looked up the
parents?
Address there.
Her parents and
Zori
grandparents.
Andrews. No,
Floyd Central is a
Zori
huge school
Andrews.
now.
Zori
I went by
Anders?
there a few years
her-
back, yeah, that's
I
right.
didn't get, when I went to Martha's funeral, I was gonna go by there, but I
Uh-huh.
just didn't have time.
And
So after the first year, I'm going back down to Cindy's for a couple of days, and we're gonna go out there.
Papa was Oscar
I
William
bet.
Cox.
Oscar William Cox?
Uh-huh.
And so that was Papa's
That
parents.
was, yeah, that was Dad.
Yeah, that was.
And then who were his,
your
and where did
Papa.
they live?
They lived right there in,
Well,
on top of the hill,
we're
my mom.
When don't you remember?
What town?
We lived in their house for a while, didn't
What town was it?
we? Between London and Kiwi.
Yeah.
Between London and Kiwi there.
Yeah.
And then who were
They,
his,
they lived in Kiwi, actually.
do you know who his grandparents were?
Now they ran the history on them. They're strictly English and I won't say Dutch.
No, this is serious.
But they ran the whole thing on them. Bert and Hazel's daughter ran that whole history of that family.
I've got that over there somewhere.
Well, Dad had a copy.
I'd like to have a copy of that then.
Have you got
I've
it?
got Dad's copy.
Boy, don't.
somewhere.
Would you make a copy of that for me?
No, that's right there.